Oh, whoops. Alright, stream is live, so I believe I am now prepared. Does appear that Wow is in the bathroom. I remember Wow because last tournament he got a pentakill. So, hopefully he can get another one this game. Everyone take a bathroom break now. Twitch.tv/Sprintspeed. Alright. Cool, cool. And alright, looks like everyone's going for a bathroom break. I am going to gonna grab a drink so throat doesn't die. And while I am grabbing a drink, I'll put on my favorite filler YouTube video. Alright. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. And that's clean enough. Sure, you'll be fine, baby sloth. Alright, so I think we are still waiting on a couple people to go to the bathroom and such, but before that starts, we can introduce these teams. On the blue side, we have Spooknuke 15, the captain for Worrying Trends. That is the team name. Alongside him are Anchi, the new essayist, Wow, and Medea. Then on the purple side, it is Team 1. They haven't changed their team name yet, but if you're number 1, why even bother? It is Glacier, Dan Masia, Defos Bane, King Godleo, and Lincoln Dove. And we're getting into bans, really quick bans right now. Throw on the spoiler tags for that. So, Viger, Vel'Koz, Gangplank, Darius. Now, Viger, Gangplank, Darius are all pretty standard bans for both sides, but then Vel'Koz, I think, is probably a target pick if one team has done scouting on the other. You don't really ever see it much. But they will be banning the Tom Kenshaway, and Fiora was left open. So, Purple Team does get the Elise out of that. Elise being the number 1 jungler right now. And we'll see if they'll have a split push answer for Fiora. It is one of the harder champions to try to beat in a 1v1. So, a lot of times people pick Gnar as a safe top laner, but because Fiora has such good gap closing ability and she can even parry the, or not parry, but repost the boomerang throw, Nars actually has a pretty rough time in that lane, so we'll see what they decide to go to answer that. You could just see the Renekton, which is pretty much a bully in any situation, but they're going to be first picking the Braum Elise, and I do like that because Braum and Tristana are so popular in the bottom lane right now. And I already went over, or well, I already mentioned Elise, that she is the #1 pick in the jungle. Plain and simple. The new SAS is hovering Zed, but if you already have Fiora in one of the lanes, you want to get some other magic damage out on the team, because obviously she is very heavy in AD. And we'll see if he goes for the Lee Sin. More skirmishing junglers have been on the rise yet again of late, because the Devourer did get nerfed a little bit. Well, it got nerfed for ranged champions, but we've seen in competitive play that people have really not been opting to go for that because it puts you in such a power trough for so long. And especially against something like the Elise, you really want a champion that can match pressure around the map and prevent your own team from getting completely rolled over. And they do lock in the Tristana as well, which is pretty standard. I already mentioned her before they even hovered her, that she's been so popular just because she's so good at pushing early turrets. If you can't get Tristana, it's also pretty popular to grab the Jinx. I'm saying hello to chat there, and actually the Lulu is open. Now, if they go for the Lulu, that means that they're going to be reliant on their side lanes for the majority of their damage, unless they do a Lulu top lane, which is one of the reasons why it's so useful, because you can flex that anywhere. I think Lulu does pretty fine against Fiora because she is one of the safest top laners in the game. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Fiora has such good all-in potential, but Lulu can just wave clear all day, polymorph her, and walk out for free. To be going saying I like the noise, no spoilers. Thank you, buddy. I'll be sure to take them off because I did cast a game once where I forgot to switch the game screen, and the no spoiler tags were on throughout the game. So they actually grabbed the Lucian off that, and Lucian Braum is still pretty strong because Lucian's passive can still proc Braum's concussive blows even faster. So what I also really like about the Braum Lucian bot lane is that if you're in a 2v2 situation, because Tristan is so good at pushing, Braum Lucian actually has enough presence to pretty much resist that, and you'll be able to stop the blue team from getting early turrets, which is really what the Tristana pick is used for. And blue team does not really want a lane swap because Lulu is such a safe solo lane pick that if you try to lane swap to get Tristana early tower damage, Fiora is such a liability for getting dived in the top side or bottom side, wherever she goes of the map. And we'll see what they decide to do for their top lane pick. Well, or mid lane pick, actually. I've been talking about Lulu as a top lane pick. I think you want it in the top lane because it'll give you a little bit more of a safety net against the Fiora, and it'll really dissuade blue team from wanting to lane swap because Fiora has such good clear early on in the game compared to most other top laners. But they are actually going to go for the Gnar. That is pretty fine. You just need to be very careful in that 1v1 lane. And so yeah, these are the locked in team compositions. I need to go over the Orianna. So obviously you can have the Orianna go in and shockwave on the Lee Sin, but because blue team doesn't really have that strong primary engage, it will be kind of difficult for them to force fights if they have a lead. Or not if they have a lead, if they fall behind. Or if they try to catch someone out. They do have the Morgana bindings, and of course Fiora and Lee Sin are such good duelists, but they don't really have as much lockdown as, say, the purple side, where you have such a strong skirmishing composition, because Elise and Braum are so good in those 2v2, 3v3 scenarios. And once you get the Gnar, that just provides you a little bit more, even more lockdown with his mega abilities. And I can take off the spoiler tags now. The game has actually begun loading, so we can talk about this. Fiora was hovering the Ignite teleport, which would have been really fun to see, but she's just going to be kind of a little more passive for this really important first game of the tournament. Oh yeah, guys, I forgot to say, introduce this game, rather. This is the first round of the Capital One circuit in the fall 2015 tournament for the University of Maryland College Park and College Park League of Legends. I'm super excited to be casting this game. I am going to be solo casting it because I was casting with somebody else earlier, but they had to go with schoolwork and all that, and some of our other casters are covering other games because why not cover more League of Legends? It's all good there. Orianna does have the cleanse, however, and I do think that will be important if they lose out on some of the vision control, because Purple Team has so many ways to lock them down that will allow her to just be completely safe and be able to escape. However, because she's running cleanse instead of something that we've seen more recently like teleport, we'll see if Lincoln Dove actually provides a lot more pressure around the map. You do see they are actually running the double teleport composition, so blue team needs to be really careful about where they want to pressure the map. Obviously, the Tristana and Morgana lane want to shove into the turret, and this is something we saw that I believe was used against Cloud9. CLG. When Coup Tigers picked the Tahm Kench and Twisted Fate, it actually worked in a very similar fashion to this double teleport because you have so much global map pressure. If your bot lane starts to be played really aggressively into the turrets, you can just everyone teleport down there, gank them, and punish them for that aggression. And Orianna will not be able to do anything about it. So I think blue team wants to gank where the teleports originate from, so ganking the top lane or the mid lane, so that obviously you cannot teleport on yourself. The bot lane won't be able to help out Gnar if he gets ganked, and especially in a dangerous matchup like with Fiora, the new SAS will probably be looking to focus that lane. I do want to point out that both supports are running Exhaust, which is kind of interesting. I might have preferred Ignite on the Braum simply because they have such a strong skirmishing composition. I think you really want the added true damage to be able to secure those kills, but that might just be more of a comfort thing if he feels more comfortable playing with that and against, to be able to shut down people like Fiora in later stages of the game. So a little bit of a safer, lower risk summoner spell, but it might come back. We'll see if at any point in the game somebody gets away pretty low, and that's not a really tall order to ask for, so I think it is very likely that Ignite might have been useful in this situation. Alright, so we are getting into loading screens. We can see what kind of skins each team is using. Death Blossom Elise versus the Blackthorn and Rocket Girl Tristana, along with the TBA Orianna. So, looks like so far the Worrying Trends team has a little bit of an advantage in terms of the skin intimidation battle. And we'll see if that carries through. Very comfort champions across the board. You can see level 4 mastery with Braum, Lucian, Gnar, and then level 4 with Morgana. Level 5 rank mastery with Lee Sin, Tristana, and Orianna. So these players should know their champions inside out. I think they just want to play safe composition for the first game of the tournament. Red team is trying something a little bit more difficult with the double teleport because you do need good communication between everyone to make that work, but we'll see if they're able to pull it off and have the comms to be able to make it work. I do want to give a shout out to Dan Masia repping the CLG icon. I am a CLG fan, although they might have gone 0-10 along with their fellow NRA comrades in the second week of groups, but we don't have to worry about that. And I'll just be rearranging these champions. So, okay, we are into game for team name, or sorry, not team name, Team 1 versus Worrying Trends. Team 1 being on the red side, Worrying Trends on the blue side. Is Spook Nuke or Glacier going to be able to pull through as a team captain? I am just going to confirm that Glacier is the team captain because although he was first pick, that does not necessarily mean he is the captain. Okay, yes, he is the captain, so Glacier going to be charging out with his Mighty Braum shield. Kind of squishing Lulu there. It's not the friendliest thing I've ever seen from a support, but we'll see if they decide to go for any level 1s. Of course, with the Braum Lucian, a lot of these champions have pretty strong level 1s. You can get the Cocoon for Elise if you spot someone out, and you have the Winner's Bite for the concussive blows on Braum. They actually managed to clear that ward, so gonna have to blow Oriana's, and they kill that one too. GG's already coming out, man. They're already... Look at how much gold that's worth. Oh, man. Nara has 20 gold. But anyways, that's not going to be too big of a deal, because if you place the ward before 1 minute, or if you place the ward at the 1 minute mark, it'll come back up at 3 minutes, which means that 3 minutes is about the time period at which junglers doing a fast clear can gank you at level 3. So... very interesting. King Galio and Defos Bane actually going to be starting on the Krugs. So, we'll see if Elise tries to invade the Lee Sin. Now, if you do this, and then you transition into the red buff, you can stay pretty healthy and invade level 2. Or, Nar might be trying to avoid the Fiora matchup. Speaking of 2v2ing in the jungle, Fiora is actually going here as well, so... I mean, it's safer because you don't run the risk of getting stuck in that bad lane, and you get a little bit more experience so you can get there a little faster, but I don't think it's really necessary for Fiora because she's already going to be dominant in the lane anyways, but this will also protect them a little bit from the invades. And we'll see who gets level 2 first in the bottom lane. Looks like Lucian and Braum already off to a start with the Targons to push that out a little. And actually Dark Binding missing from Anchi. So, not going to land that. But Aiguao throwing out some harass with that explosive charge. And Defos Bane going to be tanking the red buffs. Likewise with Spook Nuke. This means that the junglers can be at full health and continue their clear to maximize their gold efficiency in the jungle. And you can see that they are already level 2 coming into this. Actually, Defos Bane is not level 2, so something went wrong there. Fiora's going to have an advantage in that lane. But that's kind of interesting. I kind of missed why he didn't get level 2. But anyways, he is level 2 now, and that is why Fiora is so scary. Even though Defos Bane does get the hyper third hit to deal some bonus damage, that guaranteed critical strike off of Spook Nuke's E is really strong. And Morgana going to be shoving the wave a little bit, just doing the Tristana composition. Although, with Elise down, starting from the top side, she's actually going to be able to gank the bottom side. So, a good read against her opponents, knowing that Tristana is probably going to try to shove into the turret, and this will allow her to get a really early gank off. Although, ward at 3 minutes will spot her out. That 3-minute ward is oh so useful, just like I was mentioning earlier. And Lee Sin's going to take this opportunity to try to go into the jungle, see if the Krugs are back up. Good timing by him. He can see that his Krugs are actually back up. So if he knows at least start on the top side, he can mirror that and be able to steal that money for free. Elise kind of wandering back and forth here. Going to see if she can get a random gank in the mid lane against Oriana. And Nar throws out a ward deep in the river against Lee Sin. But actually Lee Sin's going to be doing some really smart pathing here. And Spook Nuke gets onto Nar. Oh my gosh, actually new SAS throws out his Sonic Wave a little early. Are they still going to be able to get the kill? Yes! First blood goes to new SAS. He didn't even need to land that Q because there's just so much early damage, especially with his cripple. And I think he still had Red Buff at the very start of that fight. But Elise going to answer by trying to gank the mid lane. But Medea has very good positioning. Knowing that Elise was on the bottom side, she's going to be right next to that bush. And Elise has no real way of closing that gap in the shorter middle lane. Nice job keeping the ward coverage up. We can see this one's actually about to fall, but staggering the wards between the support and the AD carry mean that Elise can never really get in that river area. And she could have gone around through the tri-bush, but looks like she might have just wanted to steal the raptors instead. So anyways, that does mean that Elise is going to start with double longsword and the Stalker's Blade. And if you compare that to Elise, who hasn't even really gone to buy yet, she only has 1,000 gold though, so not going to be anywhere near as strong for a good while. And she's going to go back to this bottom lane, but the ward coverage is still up, and she hasn't bought yet. I don't really think she can even make this work. Glacier and Dan Mossy are already pretty low, and she needs to stop coming through this river bush because it's just warded all the time. And especially against the Morgana, you can see Anchi's actually playing farther back, so even if Elise were able to close that gap, she could just shield Aiguao, and they would be able to get away from that for free again. So you can really see the new SAS being more efficient overall than King Godleo. And he's just going to go back, grab his Gromp, while Lee Sin is again in the top side of the jungle. Very good response to all of Elise's map movements. The Razorbeaks might be back up. And actually, he's going to go back into the top lane. Defos Spain does not have his flash, but unfortunately, the minion wave is pushing into the red team turret. He might get spotted by this ward, however. Yep. But he doesn't really care. He's just going to walk away. And Elise, again, back in this bottom side. You need to do something else, girl. She keeps trying to force this. And even if you come into the game with a plan, if it's not working out, you need to be able to adapt on the fly. And I don't know if that's what Lee Sin's doing, but either his plan earlier on or his adaptations have been working out. And seeing how he moves whenever Elise is near that bottom side, I would like to say that it is him just adapting to Elise's map movements. And you can actually see that Orianna is up 5 CS against the Lulu because she did just go back, but because Lulu has teleport, she should be able to keep a slight CS advantage in that lane, and she got the Chalice of Harmony just to be able to keep it shoved. And keeping it shoved will allow Lulu to kind of roam around and use that teleport once it comes back up. So the Chalice is going to be very important. Meanwhile, Anchi just throws out a binding, trying to poke, see if anything's biting there. And then, oh, actually, Anchi gets caught out trying to ward, and a good Genmasia capitalizing on that very well, getting some extra harass on Tristana. That might actually force her back. She does have enough for the BF sword, but Lucian would be able to control the wave and bounce it off the turret if Aiguao decided to go back there. He's actually going to stay in this lane, and it's important to know that Lucian is actually up 20 CS. Tristana's been forced back from the Elise, so even though Elise actually hasn't gotten any ganks off, her pressure has been felt by this lane, and good abuse of Genmasia has abused that Tristana's short early game range fairly well, because you can just dash in there before it gets too long and continue to trade. Actually, Medea uses her shockwave against Elise, but I think he just dodged that. Meanwhile, Spooknook flashes in against Defos Bane, expecting the boomerang to come out, but it doesn't matter. The repost lands anyways and slows him. She picks up a solo kill in that lane. Lee Sin roaming mid now, but he's by himself because Orianna has to go back. She's completely and dead. Anchi, meanwhile, is caught by herself. The Black Shield will be able to stop it from stunning, but Red Team bot side getting even a larger advantage so far. And King Godleo gets executed there, but he does get the money, importantly. I don't know if that 40 gold will really be worth it. We'll see if he buys anything. So he gets an extra potion out of doing that before going back. And, you know, if you really think about it, that expedites his return even faster. Although he didn't really kill the small raptors, so unfortunately he'll have to go back there and waste time clearing it. But Tristana was forced to go back at 53 CS, and that means that Lucian can actually go and grab a pickaxe and the BF sword if he really wants to. And yep, that is exactly what he wants to do. Anchi does throw down a pink ward to be able to keep that nice and clear of spiders. But Tristana is just going to have to try to catch up in this lane. Wow needs to play a little safer. And Lee Sin's focus on the top side has paid off. But you can see that the Fiora's lead over Gnar, which is 600 gold, is almost equal to the lead that Lucian has over Tristana. So not entirely generated just by the Lee Sin versus Elise, but the red team playing around that fairly well. And now that they're higher leveled and they actually can start to contest Dragon, you can see Lee Sin coming down to focus that a little more. He has gotten he has gotten 2 deaths onto Gnar, so that'll put a lot of pressure on that top lane. And if he tries to teleport down, that means Fiora can instantly get the turret because she already has her Tiamat. Meanwhile, they are going to be going in here. Great job abusing the fact that the mid lane was gone for a little bit, so they're able to clear that pink ward. And Gnar does go Mega, but the wall up gets parried, and Spooknook actually goes in, but Defrost Bane uses his big Gnar and does not use his ultimate, so Gnar trades evenly, but burns his ultimate cooldown. Now Danmacia is trying to go onto Anchi. He does force Aiguao to use the rocket jump, while Elise is trying to clear the top side. If they really want to, blue team could shove this in. Lulu even went back, so they could go for a dragon if they really tried for this. But actually, double teleport coming out for both teams here. Cancel from the Fiora, and now Elise should gank the top side, knowing that Fiora is stuck up there. And that is exactly what she's doing. New SAS just trying to get out away from the Lulu teleport. Are they going to get punished for Orianna not having teleport? A great parry from Spooknook. Makes sure that she stays alive. And Orianna just goes back. Does not get punished at all from Lulu's teleport. Well played by the Lee Sin. Got the Dragon's Rage into both of them. And Fiora, I mean, she's going to see the Elise again, but I don't know if she's going to be able to parry the stun this time. She actually goes in aggressively, and Gnar is so far behind. I think he's trying to stack up his Mega Bar, so he does not want to get near Fiora without having Mega Gnar. And that will mean that she's just able to trade on the Elise and walk away. Spooknook is just 1v2ing in this lane. We'll see if Elise is able to make something happen. Actually, Spooknook pops his stun. A great cocoon. Max range from the bush lands onto him. Here comes the repel. That should be the kill to King Guard Leo. Yes, goes down. Is Lee Sin going to answer with a dragon? They have pressure on the bottom side of the lane. Or on the bottom side of the map. Orianna does have this lane pushing in now that she has her own Chalice of Harmony. But looks like he's going to try to gank instead. Morgana was back a little bit for that, so they couldn't really answer immediately with a dragon. But is he going to get the kill off? No, Lincoln Dove, nice juke on that. Uses her Whimsy to speed herself up and dodge that Sonic Wave in. Bro, I'm just going to be checking this out, saying, nah, you guys are good. I don't really need to stick around. And they're just going to go back again. I think Lee Sin should really be buying a little bit more wards here. He got the Ruby Crystal, but they had so much control of this river area, and he could have really cleared out this pink and cleared out the rest of those wards if he had some wards in his inventory or a pink. Nonetheless, he does go back now, get the Sightstone and the Sweeper, so he'll be able to control vision a little bit better. I will say that back in the bottom lane when Lulu teleported in, the Ruby Crystal was very important in keeping him alive, so I think it paid out in the end for him because he did not give up the kill, but it still would have been nice if you were able to at least check the bush for the pink ward that's already in there. And now he will be going out, although Elise is here to counter, and they do see that Lee Sin is in this river. He actually doesn't even check, or I don't remember if he saw that bush, but he throws a ward over there. Does he know that the rest of bot lane is coming? Here comes Braum. They do get that Scuttle Crab, and now Aiguao gonna try to just continue shoving this lane. They still have a ward in the river if the rest of red team decides to rotate down, but very passive play from both teams coming out. Just do not want to throw on either side. And now actually Lucian is by himself because Braum is caught on the side of the river. Elise is nearby if it's a prolonged fight, but nothing actually happens. So okay, Danmacia just getting a little bit Danmacious, if that's a word. And now Medea and Lincoln Dove. A good trade by him. He knows that he can continue to shove this wave, and good prediction on the Oriana juke. Oriana will get blue buff. I think Elise might have gotten hers. Although the timers are not completely synced up because she started the top side. But okay, we'll come up now. And Lulu will just shove that. Actually, are they going to give it to King Godleo? Yes. Okay, so Oriana will actually be able to shove this more than Lulu. And you can see Lulu's going back right now. Her teleport is almost back up. I really want to see Glacier throwing a ward down in this bush so they can force a fight. But actually, they're going to go in by themselves anyways. They're going on to Anchi, but a good dodges the concussive blow, or the winner's bite from Braum. And look at the ward coverage now for blue side. They have the river completely lit up. Unfortunately, they were not able to kill that pink ward. But they'll be able to see anything that red team tries to throw their way down here. And Elise has been focusing this bottom lane so much that they really haven't changed their defense. Oh my god, a great butting for Morgana. Leads into a shockwave, and Morgana even flashes forward to make sure that she gets the kill. Now King Godleo's the only one left. Here comes Spooknook as well. He teleported in from the backside. Is new SAS going to go in for this? Come on, man. My body? No, his body was not telling him anything. They can try to answer with some turret damage, but honestly, I don't think they can really punish this enough before blue team gets a free dragon out of that. Just really good positioning by the Oriana. And getting a little bit cocky there. They knew that there's a pink ward in that bush. Or red team knew that there's a pink ward in that bush, but they stood so close to the wall anyways. And that allowed Morgana to get an easy landable binding. Gnar will be able to get the top side, maybe? No, okay. So, does not trade the gold for the dragon. That means that blue team is already up 1,000 gold at the 16-minute mark. This is not the worst deficit I've ever seen by any means. Actually, good ward coverage by Gnar. Even though he's died a couple times in lane, he's made sure that both of these entrances are always warded, and I think he knows that the pink ward is in there because he's putting them just out of vision range, so doing exactly what he needs to do right now, which is just keep ward coverage up. That being said, well, actually, they haven't really been grouping for fights, so getting the Black Cleaver first will help him against Fiora, but I'm pretty sure you want to keep doing fights. Oh my gosh, Aiguao actually loses a huge chunk of health from that trade again. You can see that Lucian finishes Infinity Edge, and Tristana opted for the Avarice Blade. Now, a lot of people get Avarice Blade pretty early, and it's pretty much just trading off spikes, because obviously it's pretty much 800 gold sink into something not very useful in a real fight. But it will allow you to get your second item spike a little bit easier. So Tristana just acknowledging the fact that she has kind of lost this lane essentially by 30 CS and the tower and kills. Or well, actually she does have one kill from that fight. So not kills, but by the in terms of CS and the tower. So she just wants to be able to contribute once the team fights start breaking out later on into the game. And as we approach 20 minutes, the question becomes, can Fiora continue to punish Gnar in the split push lane? Because she has finished her Ravenous Hydra. And as the game progresses, it'll just get harder and harder for Gnar. He will have a little bit of resurgence in power once he gets the Black Cleaver. It's still super dangerous for him though. So far he's been performing adequately in terms of he hasn't lost his turret, but Fiora's been able to have so much pressure in the lane that you saw in the last fight, she just teleported down for no... Oh my gosh! Lee Sin actually goes in by himself, but he does get the Dragon Rage off onto Glacier. Meanwhile, Medea is not able to finish off Braum, and the rest of blue team is just in the bottom side getting that turret. They might get caught out here. No, okay, they do take the safe pathing, so... Lee Sin probably don't want to go in 4v2, even though he got a good shockwave off Aiguao going so man mode here. The exhaust prevents him from finishing anyone, but a good Lee Sin roam onto him helps him pick up that kill. Now they're pretty low, but they have the pressure in this lane. Anchi getting solo. Is Lincoln Duff going to be able to finish this off? They're trying to get out of there as fast as they can. The mobility boots are going to be kicking in now, and there goes the pressure they had in the lane. very bold move by the Tristana, but her Buster Shot was completely perfect to keep the enemy off her because she was about to pop instantly. Now she will be grabbing that CS, so the blue team Worrying Trend is trying to funnel more of that money into their AD carry and try to make up for that deficit in items. You can see she already has 1200 gold. Not quite enough to get the Infinity Edge yet, so that might be why they're giving her all the jungle camps. And Braum finally rotating to the top side. This will pretty much mitigate Fiora's ability to try to fight them at all. Obviously in the 2v2 lane, especially with somebody like Braum who has such strong passive. And he's not going for this ward, so he's a little bit wary with the fact that they don't really know where any of blue team are. They're going to be face checking this bush. King Godleo, a little bit dangerous there. He might have wanted to throw a Spiderling first, because if you get hit by a Dark Binding, that's pretty much over. Luckily for him, Morgana is just in the mid lane, and they're allowing this wave to grow pretty large. IUL needs to go down there and soak up that money, because otherwise I'll be going really much to waste. But Spookna getting engaged on here. Great follow-up CC from both these players, and just a clean gank and a clean turret take. Fiora getting a little bit overconfident there. Perhaps thinking she could have reposted the CC, but when you have quadruple layers with the Braum ultimate, if you needed to use it, in addition to the 2 stuns Gnar has, and the concussive blow of stun, it's just simply too much to handle by yourself. So the rest of the blue team rotating a little bit slowly to be able to save her there, and that does allow them to actually take the gold lead from that turret in the top side. And now, since Igor was not able to clear that turret, or that amount of minions, they're just pressuring this turret down here. Defrost, Bane, and Spooknug are both falling with their teleports. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Glacier is seeing if he can engage onto Medea, but great kiting by him. A heal actually comes out from Danmacio. Are they going to be able to pick up the kills? Nope, they're just going to back off a little bit. Very safe play from both teams yet again. Just trying to get what they know they can. Dragon is up in 20 seconds, so red team really didn't have that much ward coverage a minute ago, but now they're doing pretty well. A Lulu ultimate comes up, but Spooknug's just going to jump onto Lulu instead. The rest of their bot lane is not even here to help, so blue team should be able to get this fight. Fiora is able to pick up Lulu by himself, even though the assists did go to Tristana and Lee Sin, and now they are starting to snuff out the vision for red team, but actually Defrost Bane's Gnar ultimate goes in the wrong direction. A good Dragon's Rage to actually isolate Gnar from the rest of the team, and that means they can focus him down. The rest of blue team is going to try to... Okay, so they're not going to keep engaging. Red side backs off because they're about to all get aced, and they're going to go for the mid lane turret instead. They can transition this into warding in the enemy jungle, and then get the dragon off it as well. Very well played by Lee Sin, especially preventing anyone from helping Gnar out in that fight. And that really also comes back to Defrost Bane. When he jumped in with the Gnar, he had really good positioning for a 4-man ultimate, but he knocked them all away. Pretty much the exact opposite of what you want to do as Gnar. And that means they do get the dragon. Are they going to be able to continue collapsing on this? They don't really have good primary engage. The shockwave comes out, but Lee Sin wasn't even close enough. Spooknuk so fast though, he's just gonna keep lunging at his prey. And Lincoln Dave does have the wild growth back up. The flash comes out, but he did not use that over the wall, so they're able to continue following. Where's the dash from Spooknuk? Is it almost up? Lunge comes out. No! Lincoln Dave is going to escape with his life. They still get so much out of that. This gold swings back again into the hands of Worrying Trend. Yet again, such chaotic fights. Red side just needed to accept the fact that they lost the dragon there and back off, because they got fairly close, and that just pretty much allowed blue side to continue to pile on. Now, fortunately for them, the Orianna Shockwave really didn't land, because I believe Lee Sin safeguarded to a minion or something, and then followed through with the... And then Orianna saw Lee Sin going in and assumed that he had landed the Sonic Wave, but if it was a safeguard or a Sonic Wave onto a champion, it did not actually reach them, because they were able to create a larger gap, and they lost their ability to lock him down. And that's what I was talking about earlier, that That is one thing that the team composition for the blue side is lacking a little bit. That being said, they still won the fight. Got the dragon. Oh my gosh, Wow does so much damage. That's why the Avarice Blade is coming in with. He does get the, oh my! A good shockwave does land onto Braum, but it only hits one person. New SA is going to be going in. Gets the insect! Double kill for Oriana. Wow even going in onto King Godleo. Another crit comes out. Not quite able to finish it off. And Anchi actually, interestingly, going for a very greedy build, rushing these Zanyas. And I don't know if that's completely necessary because you already have so much damage on your team already with the Oriana Fiora. But we'll see if that really comes in handy at some point. I think I might have preferred to see her upgrade into a Talisman of Ascension. Just because when you think about what your team is lacking, well, I just mentioned that their ability to engage, so getting the Talisman would give them both the engage and disengage to supplement their extremely high damage. And that does mean that blue team has a 5,000 gold lead here at the 25-minute mark. Braum doing what he can to try to clear out the wards, but really good job by the blue team. Once they got the control, they just threw in several of them pretty deep into this jungle. This one was actually about to time out, but they will be able to see blue side roaming for any map movements. And this one's going to be especially useful because now that Fiora is getting toward her second item spike, she will be getting stronger and stronger at the split push game, and red side really doesn't have a good answer for it. They do have, I think their best bet is probably the Lulu, just because you can stay on the turret and try to wave clear, but it's still so dangerous because we saw how much burst Fiora can do already. And once she gets the Black Cleaver, oh, she did just finish it, so very strong spike right here where she will be able to continue to stick on the target with the movement speed and completely cleave through that armor. Meanwhile, Oriana is actually in the bottom side. Now that this wave is pushing out, she probably wants to rotate to the top with her team because Oriana is a huge part of this blue side team fight, and she does not want to get caught, or she does not want her team to get caught while she's not there. They are actually all going to be roaming, but they need Oriana for this. This is why new SAS forced to use his Dragon Rage just to disengage, but now he's already low, and the rest of the blue team can't really do anything. The bottom lane turret will be bouncing, and actually, new SAS gets pretty low, but King Galio, a good binding comes out from Anchi, and he is able to escape with his life. What red team really needs to do now is continue to clear out this vision. Unfortunately, there's still this ward. So if blue team really tries to make a play in the jungle, they can all collapse at the same time. Because if they fight in the jungle, they do have the Gnar ultimate. Oh my god, the explosive charge goes off mid-web. And that means that Aiguao can kill her through the repel. They're going to continue pressure on this mid lane. And oh, look at Spook's damage. That was just one auto attack. He's getting really strong. I'm going to go back to that top side. Now, blue team can really, I think what they want to rotate bottom lane, actually, because they do have this wave built up from earlier. That is exactly what they're doing, and that means Fiora can get solo pressure on the turret. They're going to have to send multiple people up to deal with her, which means that they cannot engage in the bottom side. Tristan's going to be able to get the turret for free, maybe even an inhibitor turret, because there are 3 red team members on the top side, and Fiora, with this even deeper ward, able to scout that out. I don't know what Lincoln Dove is doing outside of the turret. You just need to try to save your inhibitor at this point, but they're already so low, they need to back off. Anchi takes a lot of turret damage needlessly. New SAS goes in a little bit prematurely. I think you just want to wait for Fiora to put pressure on the top side turret and keep autoing on from the blue side. So blue team does take a lot of damage from diving in, and I think they just need to pause for a little bit, be a little more patient, because now that Defrost Bane does not have Mega Gnar, he really won't be able to trade with Spook Nuke at all. And all you have to do is exactly this, just stay back outside of engage range, and Fiora can continue to try to bring that turret down slowly, little by little. She is actually going for Krugs instead of the turret right now. They are going to transition this into a nice dragon, making sure that they're in the bottom lane for long enough for the wards to expire. Nice safe play, but Fiora needs to back off immediately, because once the dragon goes off, that red team knows that they're all down there. So she does do that, and very well played by the blue side, adapting to the situation, knowing how Fiora can pressure the top side, and that Tristana is good for this siege, and now they're all just going to rotate to the top lane. And luckily, red team does have some wards. I don't know if he wants to throw Spook Nuke in like that, but it does get several turret hits on it, so that is definitely worth. And that will reduce Fiora's split pushing power significantly. She's going to be forced to go back here and lose in the bottom side, but she does have teleport. So now it's on blue team to try to force something to happen. New SAS is getting a little bit in there, but again, Orianna's a little bit slow to the rotation. Is she going to be able to get over here? Yes, because the rest of red team is actually also lagging behind a little bit. Now it just has 5 people. They're kind of calling red team's bluff, saying, okay, we're just going to keep autoing the turret. A good stun lands onto Orianna. I don't know what she was doing way out there, but that means that red team gets the huge momentum swing for the fight. They don't even have the shockwave up. Or, I mean, they don't have the shockwave to use. A good Mega Gnar comes out, but no. Dragon Rage comes out perfectly. Stops them from getting all stunned. It doesn't matter that they don't have the lockdown and damage for that they need from Orianna. Now, Elise is just going to try to catch up to them. I don't know if she can really catch either of them. Now, Lee Sin trying to back in this bush. Oh, no, Spook Nuke. Don't do it, buddy! A flash boomerang toss comes out from Gnar. Great job by the red team. Really, King Godleo there landing the godlike cocoon. Because when you have Orianna, you cannot afford to fight without her if you build a team composition around her. And now they're actually pinging back because they are afraid of Tristana's ability to reset a little bit, which is a pretty fine call. It's, just look at how low they are. Especially with Orianna coming back up with her shockwave not even being used. So they do get a little bit of breathing room and the ability to clear out the wards in the jungle. Although, unfortunately, they didn't really do that because they were trying to rush the Baron. But at least they have some wards there now. So they can catch blue team out or they can call blue team if blue team's trying to bait a Baron or something like that. And now Glacier, again, going to be scanning this bush, and hopefully he can transition it into these two. He keeps passing over this bush, unfortunately. But so blue side will have that for the next split push. Now they're actually sending Tristana down the bottom lane. I think they really want to get the Bloodthirster out for the next fight. And while they'll make it a little difficult to kill Gnar, Gnar's really the only person. Well, okay, no, I did not see the Frozen Heart on Braum. So, interesting from Tristana. I guess she feels she can really catch out the red team out of position. I don't know if that'll be able to happen. Fiora actually comes in, deals some damage, and now the new SAS goes in, but he's not able to get a good Dragon's Rage to insect him into the team, and a good disengage from Braum and Lulu are able to try to clean this up, and no, here comes Aigu. Wow! Is that going to finish it off? Yes! Killing spree for Aigu. Wow. And now they're actually going to continue going in. Defosbane did not have the Mega Gnar. Spook Nuke is continuing to chase here. This Fiora is so strong. He has not scared. He even built the Spectre's Cowl after the Black Cleaver, which is really good if you're starting to group more for fights, and that's exactly what we've been seeing. He did split push a little bit earlier, but now they've been pretty much grouped together in the top side of this jungle, and Elise actually repels, calls out Aigu Wow coming in. Really good read by King Godleo yet again. Anchi going to be staying here, trying to use the Zanyas to catch King Godleo. The shield does come out, and is the new SAS going to be able to finish up King Godleo? Yes! But the rest of red team is here. 2 people fall for the blue side in exchange for just 1 on red team, but that is a 3 for 2 overall. And now Spook Nuke's here, but the exhaust comes out. This is where the exhaust is actually becoming worth it. And Medea is over here, but she gets a 2-man shockwave. Danmacia falls, and the greedy ability power build from Morgana means that she gets the finishing blow with her own Dark Binding. Defosbane seeing if he can do anything, but without, after he lost the home guards from the minions, he's not really able to continue chasing, and he's just going to be having to clear those minions. Really fast, really sloppy in the past couple minutes, but as you can see, blue team has so much better vision out of that. They've just been engaging and engaging and engaging and trying to pull red team apart here. Even though red side has such good skirmishing ability with all of their hard CC, the fact that blue team is just I should stop calling them blue team and red team, but the fact that Worrying Trend has just been together so much and really decisive calls like this Baron sneak. I don't think Team 1 even knows that they're doing it. Yeah, Lulu's just gonna walk over and try to face check that, but it's already gonna be gone. Now Fiora's in the mid lane. They know that they made a mistake trying to go for that blue buff in exchange for the Baron. So Fiora does have her Spirit Visage now. I think I really want to see 4 members for the blue team after getting this dragon go to the top side. And then the rest of them can just push down that inhibitor. Or sorry, Fiora should go to the top side. And the rest of them can go to the inhibitor on the bottom. But here's what we were talking about. Big potential. A good follow-up by Braum and everyone else. But Morgana actually going in there to try to cause some chaos. Now Nara's here. Zanyas does dodge the Nar ultimate, but the rest of the blue team is caught in between all these walls. Spooknook and Aigubao are trying to flank themselves. Defrost Bane is going down. Double kill! Triple kill for Tristana! Orianna gets a double kill, but that is the ace for the blue side. They started that off really well, but they weren't able to focus Lee quite heavily enough, and he did not get bursted completely down. They used a Braum ultimate on it, and Nar completely whiffed his. So that meant that all of their fighting power in the jungle area was already used up. Very similar to how earlier in the game, blue side did not have their shockwave for their fight. Blue team is able to pull through. Look at how much blue team is just warding wherever they go. And red team has Team 1 has been trying to follow through with this on their own with their own efforts, but Worrying Trend has just been pretty superior in terms of both decisive and just knowing what they want to do for each of their champions, because you saw Tristana actually flanking from that right side, which was a really greedy move, but he knew that all the main abilities for the from Team 1 were already used, so he was in a pretty safe position to do that. And it really worked out. Now, Spooknook going to be in the top side. Worrying Trend, this is not very worrying for them because they're continuing to get the turrets after turrets. They already have the bottom side inhibitor, and now they're completely snuffing out the vision for Team 1. And Dan Masya, I don't know where you're going, buddy, but he gets instantly killed. And King Godleo going to be knocked back into the enemy team. He tries to repel to save himself. Lulu ultimate comes out onto him, but that's not going to be enough. Now Defrost Bane is going to go down too. The only one alive is the Lulu. That's going to be a 4-for-0. That's probably the game. They have Baron minions. They have Fiora. They have Tristana. I don't know what Lulu can possibly do here in the last couple seconds of this game, but they don't really have that many minions. Are they going to be able to do it? Yes, I believe so. They do have one super minion coming in. Alright, that's going to be it. Worrying Trend, worry no more. A teleport coming over here. They're not going to get Lincoln Dub if they try to dive a tower. He's MIA, report for AFK. Aigubao ruins his KDA for the tournament. Now he's 7-2, but very well played overall. GG, Worrying Trend. Alright, so look at the scores. Blue side, Worrying Trend played so safely. Well, no. That's actually the opposite of what they did. Lee Sin was going in every single time, but they were able to coordinate their map movements so well. And when they engaged, they were able to follow through at the same time. They used the Dragon Rages pretty much perfectly to peel almost every single time, and it really paid dividends. If we look at damage dealt to champions, the award does go to Aigubao. He was behind in the early game, but pulled through for the rest of the team. I'm actually surprised that Anchi did not go for the Zeke's Harbinger, because as Morgana, you do benefit from that ability power, and you already have a lot of ability power. I don't know why she's getting a giant spell. I think you really want to be able to do that for your Tristana, because they kept diverting a lot of the farm to Tristana in the mid game to help her catch up, and being able to get the Zeke's Harbinger would just be a huge power spike for her. Well, not power spike, because that's just going to be persistent throughout the rest of the game. Make her so much more useful. But overall, very well played. And importantly, Orianna was not punished for running the cleanse instead of teleport. I don't even know if I really remember seeing her use the cleanse. The one time she got stunned by the cocoon in the top lane and the entire fight snowballed off of that, she didn't cleanse, but regardless, very well played by Worrying Trends. It does give them a 1-0 start against Team 1, who is now 0-1, so well played. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope it was pretty entertaining. I had fun casting it, as always. Upgrade your ward, Lulu, please. But anyways, alright. See you guys later.